You are now listening to the Danger Tapes podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Danger Tapes podcast. My name is Devin Ramos, aka Dev Danger. Before we get started with this podcast, as always, I'd like to mention our sponsor, Eype Designs. Zay provided the Danger Tapes with an entire website, pretty much everything I asked him for. He's a really great designer, working on a couple of side projects right now. But if you'd like to check out his portfolio, go to thedangertapes.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and click on the Eype logo. You will see his portfolio. Hit him up. He's a really great guy. Like I said, when the ideas I came to him with, I thought they weren't going to work, but they ended up working out really well. He made them work as far as the player that I wanted on the page, the blog roll. He's come to me with really great ideas, and yeah, he's a really great designer. Please hit him up because he's doing really great things as far as design goes, and his own clothing company that he started with for children or toddlers, I believe. And yeah, I believe in him 110%. So big ups to Zay1X. Also, before we get started, if you're listening on SoundCloud, iTunes, watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. All the podcasts on the Danger Tapes Network are working really hard to bring you really great content. From the Lost Souls podcast to Gameology to The Rotation to Terminally Trill. Every week we're trying to have something new for you guys, and it's a struggle, but we're getting it done. And all we ask in return is that you subscribe on whatever you're listening to, whether it be SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, anything. Again, we're really planning to do more with this. So far, actually, what you were just listening to right now was a let it go a little bit. Was a track from Goodman, and I'll mention that right now. But again, please subscribe; we would really appreciate it. Getting into that track, though, the first one, not the second one that I accidentally let play, that was from Goodman off of his new album called Designs, and he actually sent that to me via email, and I've been playing Goodman beats on the podcast for a long time. I really like his stuff. He's a really great designer, apparently, too. I know he does a little bit of artwork. If you go to goodman.bandcamp.com, you'll find his newest album, Designs. It's just a beat tape. He has really great, smooth beats, though. He has about 5 to 10 on here or something, as far as beat tapes go. And I just really appreciate all the stuff he does. As far as music and art goes, and it's really great stuff. Right now, though, we are going to get into our first official track of the podcast, and it's actually a throwback to Machete the Kid off of Machete and I believe, or Babylon and I. That's why I couldn't find it. It was Babylon and I from Machete. This is You and You. Please enjoy. It's a really great track, maybe one of my favorites from Machete. Give it a listen.
I'm a scientist, I'm a science kid in this rapping shit. My project, this ain't half of it. Day tonight in the lab is where I'm spending my blood, sweat, passion for no cash. Thirsty, starving, restless, still the last one you know whose flow is immaculate. Win or lose all the time with this music shit. These motherfuckers wanna be big time rappers, tryna make hype so they gotta run their yappers. I ain't tryna take the cake out your wallet, just want you to be inspired. Let the music take you higher. If you at the show, take a listen. If Machete's headline and come up and say, yo, what's the deal? I'ma mention you and you and you, and I'ma say it is for you and you and you. It's for you and you and you. It's for him and her and you. It's for you and you and you. Nigga, I'm a scientist. It's for you and you and you. It's for him and her and you. It's for you and you and you. Nigga, I'm a scientist. Yeah, I'll take the chances presented. I line my rhymes on time for the next kid. Yeah, we all been subjected to radio hits. I'll make the next one reckless. From the top to the bottom, I stare at the empty bottles on my counter. They account for my calendar, nigga. Day in, day out, high to high. Brain cells fried out, now we seeing eye to eye. I keep dreaming about my name in the sky. It's real dreaming about rapping for that Nobel Prize. It's hard to hide it, I can't deny it. A slave to the page, it's where my rhymes at. Jotting shit down over and over again. Blazing these pads and paper and losing the caps of my pens. At peace when I'm doing this, you call it zen. And I ain't even tryna floss, dog, I spit it quick. These times grow thick, but I'ma make it through. Nigga, to figure out when I trip how to break the fall. Lyrical killer, the Rican grizzly gorilla. The nut on your blanket spill till I drill on the spot, I fill up. It's for you and you and you. It's for him and her and you. It's for you and you and you. Nigga, I'm a scientist. It's for you and you and you. It's for him and her and you. It's for you and you and you. Nigga, I'm a scientist.
Again, that was Machete the Kid. What's the deal? The track is called You and You off of Babylon and I. I messed that up before the break, but big ups to Machete. Jesus Christ, not with it today. This shit's just difficult to put together. Let me say that, and I'm gonna get into that a little later. But first, over the last week, I took a break from the podcast, and it's really difficult when you take a break and you come back to try to do the podcast because you don't really know. There's few cues that you know, like, oh, okay, I could turn up the mic right now. The song's about to end. You know, this is gonna come on right now. This is what you hit when, you know, a couple seconds in. You know, this and this and this, and you really kind of forget all those things really quickly. When I mean, I could relearn them really quickly again too, but it's a lot of things. It's almost habit, and if I don't do this within at least 5 to 7 days, I'm really, you know, I'm stumbling here, and I don't know why some of these songs came up again. I'm playing them in SoundCloud on a separate page, but you know, I won't really look too far into that. But over the last week, I took a break, mostly because I went to Coachella, and I was talking about that on my last episode of the Danger Tapes. But yeah, it gets a really bad rap from amateur journalists that want to sort of raise a question as to who's really going to Coachella, and I don't know. It just sort of, to me, it seems like, again, amateur writing, because I read a couple articles. And I'm not going to directly quote them because I lost them. They're buried in the abyss of the internet. But I read a couple articles that stated that Coachella is really just nothing but trust fund babies and really spoiled kids, and just it's you know, just the worst people that you would ever meet in society. And you know, there's a lot of that. I'll admit. I mean, I saw it firsthand when I was there. But if you let that get to you, you could really let it ruin your experience. And I had a really great experience at Coachella. You know, aside from all the crappy people, all the acts I saw Usher, not Usher. See, I'm really bad today. Saw Pharrell. He brought out Usher. He brought out Jay-Z. He brought out Pusha T and T.I. and the Jabberwockies, and it might have been one of the craziest hip hop shows I've ever been to. just because of the energy level that was in, the audience and, what Pharrell was bringing to the table. It was so much fun. I mean, I don't think I've had that much fun at a show in a long time. And maybe one of the first times I had that much fun at a hip hop show was maybe just out of pure excitement for me being able to go. But Pharrell really brought him, man, and he did really well. And I didn't expect him to bring out that many guests. I mean, he just kept bringing them on and on and on. I really thought he was going to bring up more, just so he was bringing up so many people so frequently. And I had a lot of fun there, seeing Pharrell. And I also saw MGMT, and which was really great. I've been trying to see them for years, since their first album, Oracular Spectacular. I also saw Kid Cudi, and Kid Cudi is Kid Cudi. He has a lot of fun on stage. He had a lot of people dancing, I'll say that much. A lot of people really, really went there to go see Kid Cudi. People love Kid Cudi. He could have headlined. Not so many people that were there seeing Kid Cudi. Who else did I see? Arcade Fire, which is maybe one of the most, I don't want to say visually spectacular shows, but it's really visually, it was just fun. Visually fun, aesthetically pleasing to look at. Just them being on stage, their presence on stage, what they're doing on stage, all the action on stage as far as them switching back and forth from instrument to instrument, and just really enjoying themselves and having fun with the crowd, and just, God, you could tell they really appreciate where they came from. Even from them explaining how their first show, they were just incredibly nervous, and how the crowd really embraced them since day one at Coachella. And it was really inspiring to see them at that point headlining the last night at Coachella. And I had a lot of fun. And to me, that's sort of what it's supposed to be about. Of course, it's supposed to be about the music. You go anywhere with people. I deal with people on a daily basis. A lot of people, and you're gonna meet some shitheads. It doesn't matter where you go, whether you go to the mall, whether you go to the movies, whether you're just standing in line at the bank. And it just so happens that all those shitheads are crowded into one place, trying to watch the same show you're watching, because they enjoy the same things you enjoy. Everybody enjoys something, and they're there with you, and they're trying to have fun, having a little too much fun at the expense of you, but it's not bad, And I think that, when you see somebody like Jay-Z, you're going to get some critics to say, like, oh, Jay-Z is not the best rapper alive. He fell off with Magna Carta. But at the end of the day, Jay-Z is fucking Jay-Z. Like, I didn't really like Magna Carta, Holy Grail. I didn't. The first song was brilliant with Justin Timberlake. Of course, that was really the only track I liked on that album. And I played that back to back, over and over and over again, because it was just so great. That was the only song I liked on that album. It didn't make me give up on Jay-Z. I still want to see Jay-Z perform at the Staples Center, or at some arena that he sells out in like 5 minutes. I still want to see that. And of course, I'm going to have to pay way more than I paid for Coachella just to be able to be as close as I was to see Jay-Z. And it was amazing to see. I was super excited just from the moment he came out on stage. And it was great, because to me, in regards to the Pharrell show in particular, when I was in high school, pretty much every song that Pharrell played, with the exception of the new stuff from Girl, every song he played was popular when I was in high school. Popular. And this was before, the internet, when you could really say, like, oh, okay, I really like this band, or I really like this band. I'm not too into mainstream stuff, but I'm really into underground stuff, which I can find a bunch of on the internet now. That wasn't around back then. You had MCs like Jay-Z, you had MCs like T.I., you had MCs like Pusha T, and it was just really great to see. And all the songs they played, even the Usher ones, all the songs they played brought me straight back to high school. It was fantastic. I mean, and that's the true essence of music. That's what I got from Coachella, and it was just this really great feeling. And even waiting up front for hours and pushing through over 10 to 15,000 people just to see Pharrell, like literally pushing through. These people were already set, and it was like a wall of people, and we pushed right on through. And I was wondering if maybe we should stop halfway, maybe 50 yards in front of the stage, and we pushed on all the way up to the stage. Maybe got as close as maybe 5 yards away from the stage. We were really close, maybe a little further, but we were a little close. We were really close, and it was worth it. Every push, every person that got pissed off, it was worth it. And I would probably go again. I was really doubting my I was really doubting the fact that I might want to go again, but I think I really would. I think that if you do it right, and if you know what you want to see, and if you know where to go, and if you don't let it get too overwhelmed, if you don't let yourself get too overwhelmed, you'll have a lot of fun. And I could see myself going back. One of my friends, Miguel, who was sort of our coyote for our Coachella trip, really made things a lot easier. I think I was going to go vastly underprepared to what we actually brought. And it was a lot of fun. It was a nice little vacation. Just really got to enjoy myself. I came back really tired, and I really doubted the way that people come back so tired from Coachella. I'm like, how could you come back tired? Like, I know it's hot, but you could recoup after a day. Like, I really didn't recuperate until like Friday, and the Friday after. And I'm really glad that I went, though. And big ups to Miguel, who I'm trying to have on here for a Dodgers podcast. So we're going to see where that goes. And actually, I'm going to give a shout out to my cousins. He's part of the family now. He's not really a cousin. Don't. Let me back that up, because it's going to sound really weird if I say it that way. I'm going to give a shout out to my cousin Destiny for getting married to a good friend of mine now, Josue. They've been together like 4 or 5 years now. And they got married kind of in secret, but I'm going to give them a quick shout out. They're really proud of them, really happy for them. And big ups to them. And that'll lead me into my next break. Actually, right now we're going to play a song from OBeasi called S.A.I.L. It's actually abbreviated. I'm not sure what it stands for, but big ups to OBeasi for this track. Enjoy it. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Peace.
Lackluster for the brain cluster, fuck the flame. I can bust it, be ashamed not to rush the stage. When my nigga got his mind on pay. Left last week, but was gone 2 days. Now look both ways and never be the same. My man still sane, so the dream for the ball and the chain. Tryna ball for the change, dang. And no, I'm not available. Worldwide ocean, set my mind not to sell the coast. Cause you know that a nigga hellin' doping while you selling out. He gon' hang out with a dopers out. Always fly high, your light, twilight. Her ass, her face, your girl, I like. Might go solo. YOLO, my team, Bruce Lee, your team, Bolo. Bullshit, I know, say it, lovely. Your flow, pretty, got love, ugly. Oh, now pause for the last hope. Niggas tryna make it off they man's boat. Walk the plank before I flank my niggas. They see a dope show when they thanks my niggas. Go figure that bigger map. And in fact, I figured up. Hold up, I ain't drunk enough. I'ma need a bigger cup. And you gon' need a bigger buzz to act all holy. Perpetrating tight funded acts of foley. Trolling the avenue with intentions to build. This unintentional skill and comprehensions of field. If copper can make a dollar can make a billion. A billion, I make a show, I'm making a killing. God damn it, I planned it day one. Knew the scheme of a room of temporary dreamers. Be the beamer of the Chevy. Teleport you to the back row of the show. I guarantee it's gonna go, now you know.
Again, that was S.A.I.L from OBeasi. Supposedly he's working on some new tracks. I'm really excited to hear him. Go check him out on SoundCloud. Of course, I'll link all his tracks on thedangertapes.com. Sort of close this thing out. Again, as I was going into before my little Coachella rant and rave, and it's really hard to put this thing together. I mean, and I'm not complaining, but creativity in general is really hard to manifest into something, to mold and sculpt. And it's really hard to put all that together, and it's really hard to put everything aside and sit down and do what you want to do creatively, whether it's going to bring you any money or not. It's really just hard to do it. It's so much easier to lay down with your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your wife, your husband. It's really a lot easier to do that, or even just to go play with your dog, or just to go. It's easier to do that than to sit down and really bury yourself, in your art. And sometimes it feels like you're hitting your head against the wall, and you're just driving through it. And with this and with anybody, sometimes it just takes that discipline just to say, like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to play video games today. I already know that. I'm not going to go home and sit down, because I know as soon as I come home and sit down on that couch, I'm going to get tired. Within 5 seconds, I'm not going to want to get up from that couch. And that's what I've been struggling with all week. Again, I came back really tired from Coachella. And every time I came home from whatever I was doing, as soon as I sat down, man, I could not get up. I was just stuck there for hours. And I knew I had to do the podcast. I knew how to put this together. And I think just sitting down there made me feel like I couldn't do it. I mean, I was really working against my body this week, really, and mental health too. I mean, not that I'm crazy or anything, but I was just really pushing against it. And it was like, jumping into the water with a weight vest on, and it's weighing you down, and you could barely swim against it. You're barely moving up towards the surface. And, I really took a lot of time to relax this week. I know a lot of people, just struggle with creating something, especially when they want to, especially when it's in their heart. And I think that, that's something we all go through. When it's in your heart and you can do something, but you're not sure how to go about doing it. That's the hardest part. And then you start looking at videos, you start looking at, people who are doing kind of, more or less what you want to do, whether you want to blog, or whether you want to paint, or whether you want to make music videos, or, make short films. You start looking at people on Vimeo or any medium, people to get inspiration. And you're like, wow, like, how can I ever be this good? How can I ever do something that's even half as good as this? And then you really get really discouraged, and then you try to emulate that style or imitate that style, and it just doesn't work out. It doesn't feel kosher to you, and you just feel really lost. I feel really lost most of the time. Sometimes, and I really had to stop watching certain things so often, just because I knew I would never be able to replicate that. And in knowing that, I was holding myself back because I couldn't actually come up with anything new on my own. Just because I felt so discouraged, because it wasn't what was inspiring me. And sometimes you just need to step back and need to turn your back against everything that inspires you. And you just need to do it for yourself. We need to just really look at what we want to do and just do it. And that's sort of what I'm trying to do with the podcast. That's something I really tried to do. That's what I really worked at this week. And kind of worked out. I ended up doing it. I'm doing it way at the last minute. Right now, we're literally about to record the Lost Souls podcast as soon as I go into the next song. But I did it, and I feel so much better in doing it. It's like I lifted that weight vest off my shoulders. I'm at the surface. I'm getting that first breath of air, and it feels good. And it feels good to finally do it. And I'm not going to let myself sink down to the bottom of the fucking pool anymore. Because it's tough to just swim back up. It's a lot of water. And sometimes it's just easier to sit at the bottom and let yourself sort of sink. That's always an option. And you know that because when you're fighting against it, you're just sitting and you like, look, I could just sit down at the bottom and let myself sink. Who's going to really care? You know, some people might be upset. You know, some people might show up for the funeral or this or that. And, you know, that'll be that. You know, within a month, I'll just be a memory. And that's always an option, you know. And sometimes, depending on how far you're sinking down, that option becomes more viable. So I didn't let myself sink completely down. I refuse to let this thing sink, whether I take a week off or a month off or 6 months off. I refuse to let this thing go away. Too many little things inspire me to keep going on with this, and I really appreciate the people that send me music to play on the podcast. Big ups to Fame Kills. Check out that blog on the website, blog post on the website of him performing one of his tracks. And big ups to Goodman. Thank you for the beat tape. If you guys are interested in that beat tape, again, go support the dude. He's a really great guy, really great beat tapes. But we're going to end this podcast now. But before we do, again, subscribe wherever you're listening, whether it be on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the podcast. There will be another episode next week. Have a good week, you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Right now, this track we're going to get into is called, what is it? What am I playing? Cubits from Soopah Eype. I think it's Soopah Eype. Off of Better Off Dread. I found this on Bandcamp. I will link it on the page. Thank you guys for listening. I really appreciate all the inspiration. Peace.
Juice Willis and Tavy Yon. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. I believe it. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. Courage and cowardice, an inch when an hour slip. It was they and then, it's me now and this. Compile events, frisk, our powers tense. It's our risk, I am he who the crowd resents. Flip, flicking and wrecking, twine tied to a zeppelin. Bolt to thermite from out of my septum. Kool-Aid, blooded niggas with flesh of pectin. Untied shoelace trip, consecutively second. Hit you like a Hachi from Tekken, it's just then. I bust double decker like I'm Desmond. On any sound boy who wanna avoid the crown joy. Deploy a knocker, it may be whether or not they found Floyd. I burn the cucarachas and avoid a superhumanoid on roids, you just bok choy. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. If it's cylindrical and lit, nigga, there's collie in it. Printed plenty citrus scripts to rigid scurvy. No curtsies for Xerxes, they get Charlie Murphy. Worthy of paranoia, puff for red sequoia. Bandai toys, the Gundam wing destroyers. Loitering hawks and pigeons, splendors of nepotism. Decisions of favoriting but never affect the nigga. Stooges brought tulips to get pubis. No new news, they just review teleprompter music. Me and my dogs incubate, atomic Anubis. Naked truth and blueprints, hate measured in cubits. Dodging obvious, when in these shrine lodges. Horse logic seem to be tiaras and corsages. Subjective objects, obsessed with objects. I object to the odd in this odyssey for progress. They used to crack a whip and crack a smile, crack a child. I'm cracking codes, never carrying no cracking vows. And on this night shift, I cite rightness. Dizzy as cyclists and velodrome, spinning till lifeless. I'm not king, but you hear me not king. So send me high king, give me many offerings. It's drum driven, drone and bum ridden. Party favor, no fucks given, spitting conundrum rhythms. You can't get them. Carnage and khaki, venom and denim, how they fit them. Eardrum, syrup and serum, sarsaparilla, rap theorem. From a stardust mirror, nigga. And I exist in a circle of fists. I'm hurt, you insist. My virtue is myth, though my mercy persists. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. Body bending and polyrhythmic, you probably timid. My skinny hustle was healthy now and supple. A subtle brokenness that's been bound in duffel. Dense debt is now like a dome above you. Which one of us will pop this cloudy pustule? Him and his holy hymns, holding symposiums. Saucony kick, goalie spin. I only win with nice clean cuts. Bikes and ice cream trucks. So how plight brings us each Charles Mingus.